Peace and power to the people that struggle. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. The divine mind knows, the divine mind shows all things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power to the people that struggle. As you come on in, know that this is a safe space. Know that this is a space for learning and getting learned up. Know that this is a space for educating and being educated. Know that this is a space for conversation, comments and concerns, questions and answers. This is a space for dialogue. This is the space for higher intelligence, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This is a space of integrity, your space, a space of love. A space of love, hello, right. A space of masters, kings and queens, rules and rulers. This is a space of power. A space where we are working on a united path towards true liberation. As my classroom assistants come on in, blue checks. Come on in. Please keep all contact information in the chat for the duration and throughout the class. Please keep all funding information. Apps with cash, pals that pay, screens that are green. Yes, unions that are Western, pals that pay, grams that have money. Red cups, blue cups, jingle bells, damn it, cat, Santa, collection plates. It's a war going on outside. No man, no woman is safe from fund the war effort. If you or anybody you know is in need of anger management, please book an assessment. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait until you're getting ready to crash out. No, we don't do that. Don't wait until your children's voice is filled with hate. No. Don't wait until you're getting kicked out of the PTA. No. Book an assessment. Get you some anger management skills. If you or anybody you know is in need of a domestic violence intervention, yes, book an assessment. Stop sending each other outside with tinted shades on. Stop sending each other outside with a limp. Stop sending him to the ER with grits. Hot grits. Okay? Book an assessment. Get yourselves together before you make the news. If you or anybody you know is in need of an intimate relationship abuse consultation and counseling, please book an assessment. Learn the warning signs, the behaviors that should alarm you. Why she got that pot boiling so long? Is that baby oil in the microwave? She pushed that button? Why he walking around with that belt buckle? Okay? Behaviors that should alarm you. Okay? Characters and characteristics that should heighten your awareness. People, places, events, conversations that should have your alertness levels on 1,000. Remember, with this information, the life that you save could be your own. How y'all do? Y'all already know what type of time it is when y'all see this cup. Yeah, I need a double tap tonight. And again, disclaimer. If this shoe doesn't fit, don't put your big fat toes in it. Letting you know that right now. Sensitive subject. Belief systems checked and challenging. All commentary, comments is welcome. Yes, indeed. My snipers know what's going on. Everybody know what it is. So, Who we tagging? Everybody. Roy G. Bibbs, tag him. Gripper Gators, tag him. Your family members who may be on the sweet side, tag them. Tag them all. Tag Guillermo, a.k.a. Jim Jones, a.k.a. Jimmy, a.k.a. Mama Kisser. Tag them. Dapper Dan, Lil Baby. Yeah, the Puffster. Tag all these fruities. Tag them. Jennifer Hudson. Tag everybody, the whole entire industry. Tag them. Tag Arnold and Dudley too. And thanks for whoever sent that video. I forgot Dudley almost got them grippers manipulated severely. Damn it, Dudley. You drinking with an old Faye in the back of the bicycle shop. Boy, Dudley, you was about to get done. Tag old Buster Rachi. Tag Buster Rachi. Damn it, we going all the way in. Now listen. Never mind. Let's see who's in class, damn it, because I ain't got time to waste. Ooh, Charles is first. Ooh, salute. Damn it, Charles. Ken Williams. Ooh, and brother Tyrone to dish. God diggity. Backyard again. In the spot. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. Got grown men in the spot first in their seats. Philip Boone. Uptown Drake. Damn it. A Wood, Detroit, what's going on? Michigan, we see you. Bushhead, what up? Might say anything. What up, Philly? Yeah, what's going on? We see you. Dust Fro, 517, what up? God Body, peace. Snook the Bear TV with the apples and all that, peace. Uh-oh, Hot Car, what up, Swat? What up? Yeah, we see you, Mashi. Ooh, Mashi up late. Ooh. She must want to see that dimple. Oh, God damn it, Mashi. God damn it. Sister Jana, I'm under your spell. Ooh. Let's go. Ooh, Bernie, what up? God diggity doggy, what's going on? Angel, what up? Yeah, we see you. Y'all up in there. Big Red Shaolin, what up? What's going on? See Blaze, my sniper. Cool K Kang, what up? GB, what's going on? Jane Doe, we see you. Oh, Construction Site Media TV, what's going on? Breed Love, what up? Ooh, y'all profit getters, we see you. Trevor, 55. 55 for Trevor. 55. Put it down. Saul Good. What up, Saul? Michael Hayes, what up? Ooh, we see him. Molly. What up, Molly? Yeah. Think for yourself. We see you. What up? PJ Allen. What up? Rick Gatlin. What up? Ooh, yeah, y'all up in here tonight. Yeah. Uh-oh, DFT. What up? Got the late Charles. God diggity doggy. Ooh-wee. Who else is up in here? Yeah, we see y'all. Yeah. Listen, we getting right to it. First of all, before we get into the meat of this, we got an update. I don't know why it's not going viral. Don't know why. You see how this shit is? When we on one side of the justice system, it go viral every step of the way. You heard about Young Thug case. You heard about Diddy case. You heard about Tory Lanez case. Bill Cosby case. God diggity dog. R. Kelly case. Damn it, everybody. Shit. Mystical, you name it. We heard about everybody case, right? For weeks and weeks and weeks. Didn't we? Yeah. Now corrections, they try to sneak this shit by, but nah. I want y'all to make sure you got your TikTok edits on right now. This going viral. We're going to keep this in their face every time we get a small update. Who's that? Pagan, much appreciation for the super chat. We see you, Versace Broccoli. What up? Yeah. Listen. Utica, New York. A former corrections officer was sentenced to 15 years in prison Monday for his role in the unalivement of a black inmate whose beating by a group of guards at an upstate New York prison was captured on body cam videos. God body, much appreciation. What's up? The revolution requires funding for progress. That's right. But God only got a what? Crispy dub. Don't worry about it. Yeah, listen, Vietnamese fed an army with a dub. Listen, only thing, the dub right there, y'all know how to go. YouTube get, what they get? 60% of them super chats. Don't worry about it. Salute. We gonna do what we do. You dig? Yeah. That's right, more between the couch. Hold on now. We gotta keep this right and exact. Christopher Walrath was one of the 6 guards charged with unalivement in the death of Robert Brooks, who was pummeled at the Marcy Correctional Facility on December 9th. Warrick pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter in May. We ain't know that, right? Under the first plea deal among the guards charged with this heinous act. I didn't know he copped out, did y'all? We didn't even know they was getting offered pleas, did y'all? Huh? Let's see. In that video, I see you and your fellow officers treating him as if his life holds no value at all, as if you're entitled to brutalize him for sport. Robert Brooks Jr., the victim's son, told the court. And that's very important. That's very important. Entitled to brutalize him. Because they done brutalized many of us in those mountains. Many of us in those receiving rooms. Many of us in the box, in solitary, in them single cells by yourself. Beat up in the back of vans. On your way to solitary. Beat down while you're cuffed. Kicked. Okay? And this is what I've been telling y'all from the rip. There's a sense of entitlement when we give up our bodies. When we give up our potential to be greater in this oppressive society. They feel entitled because we don't fight back for real. We don't plot. We not doing like Kizzy did, spitting in the cup. We have to have a concept of getting rid of them. Or this entitlement to brutalize us will continue. They just not going to stop. I don't know what you believe in, but we're going to test it tonight. I'm telling you. For me, all that shit is dated. And they are thinking, they are believing that they're entitled to our bodies because it is in them. It is in their DNA. It is them at their core. And we're going to show you tonight what's in their belief system. So maybe you can get militant and build your own resistance. Okay? The son said in his victim impact statement that I am not okay and I will never be. Brooks had been serving a 12-year sentence for first-degree assault since 2017 and was transferred to Marcy from a nearby lockup on the night he was beaten. The video shows Brooks being struck in the chest with a shoe, lifted by his neck and then dropped. Under questioning in May from Onondaga County District Attorney, Warrick admitted that he and other guards assaulted Brooks, that he put Brooks in a chokehold, and that He struck the inmate's body and groin. Yeah, because they got to get your groin. What up, Shan? We see you. In addition, the 6 guards, okay, Nathaniel Davis, much appreciation for the full effort. In addition, the 6 guards charged in February with unaliving him. 3 more prison workers were indicted for manslaughter and another for evidence tampering. Prosecutors have said 3 other prison workers have reached agreements. A guard pleaded guilty in May to attempted tampering with physical evidence and was sentenced to a 1-year conditional discharge. Trials were scheduled to begin in October for guards who have rejected plea deals. Fitzpatrick is also prosecuting guards in the fatal beating of Messiah Nantwi on March 1st at another Marcy lockup, the Mid-State Correctional Facility. 10 guards were indicted in April, including 2 who are charged with unaliving him. Both prisons are about 180 miles northwest of New York City, what they call that hub. That is Central New York, Malone, New York, where they got Marcy, Mid-State, Oneida, Mohawk, yeah. And they abuse most of those inmates up there because a lot of them, right, are dealing with mental issues, right? Adult learners where they still got to get their GED when they in their late 30s and 40s, stuff like that. Most of them medium facilities, people who struggle with addictions. So they beat the hell out of you. That's where they send real live dudes for punishment. When they bring you out of the max from behind the wall and take you to them little weird mediums where all this stuff is going on, they hope you get a new charge in there. So you got to be smarter than the average bear before you sign yourself up out of there or raise hell. Shh. Mid-State was not a spot for me. Oneida was not a spot for me. I had to get back behind the wall. So now we got to make that viral. Make sure y'all push that. He got 15 years. Where he going to do it, I don't know. We don't know. But he got 15 joints. Matter of fact, I'm going to make a little meme or a little pic or something with his picture on it and how much time he getting floated all around. They may have to put him in the Fed somewhere and hide his big old goofy ass. Okay? So, for those of y'all who was wondering what was going to happen, did anything happen? So we know one of them already got 15 years. Good riddance. Watch your grippers. Watch your grippers. Now here's hard for CO or cops behind bars. Watch your grippers, sir. Yeah. Okay. Now, let's get to the meat of this because this is Grippergate. This is the psyche of those who believe they can help themselves to your grippers. Yep. Y'all didn't think that this was the psyche? Y'all don't think that every time we see a rapper, an actor, an athlete in some real sweet looking clothing, real pretty fingernails, huh? Now later flavored underwear type stuff, huh? Fluorescent lime green Skittle paint on their fingers and toes, huh? Junior, much appreciation for funding the war effort. You think that I already told y'all. People, when we was coming up in the 80s, right? Dr. Francis told people of a conspiracy, right? Naeem Akbar, Jawanza Kunjufu, all of our intellectuals were speaking about it. There is a conspiracy to feminize melanated men. It was a conspiracy at that point. Then it became a structured agenda, utilizing rap music, commercial rap, utilizing Black Hollywood. So it went from a conspiracy theory to a functioning agenda to now being a tolerated behavior. This is where we're at. And I don't want y'all in this class to ever believe that that's an accident. That's not an accident. That's purposeful. And I don't want y'all to believe that it's there only as a tool to keep us from gaining strength, pride, momentum in the struggle towards liberation. No, 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 no. This is a kink. This is a fetish. This is some weird fantasy of the old fae. Yeah. The old fae sleeps and dreams and believes in grippers, buns. Your black behind. Yes, they do. Old fae men, old fae women. Barbie and Ken. Yeah. Gidget and Scott. They want your buns. That's an absolute fact. They got here, they got the indigenous people buns. They was on the continent, they was getting continental buns. That is all they know. Now, why is that, Bliz? Listen, if I knew exactly why, I'd be a wealthy man. If I knew what was in their core, if I knew what was in their makeup. I don't know what makes them. I mean, I know what the lessons teach. Yeah. The big head scientist Yakub grafted them. If we're going to go with that belief. However, I don't want to go to the lessons and the degrees because a lot of people have no knowledge of it. So we're going to stick with the old faith explanation based on their own literature. Okay? Based on their own literature from the beginning. So we can break it down specifically, smoothly, okay, and elementary. This isn't high science. This isn't high science. But people choose to ignore the fact, even though it's right in your face, that these warmongers, these enemies of nature, y'all don't get it yet? That the Ofe is an enemy of nature. When you are an enemy of nature, you are out of alignment with the universe. When you're making an attempt to destroy nature, trees, oceans, the Arctic, how can you ever live in harmony with your fellow human being? So it is a diseased mind. It is a diseased, melanated mind who sits there and bargains and make deals with these devils. Do you get that? The 10%. How can God make a deal with 10%? Huh? How can a woke make a deal with somebody who is psychotic. That is why we struggle. That's why we have so many issues. Because many of us believe that if we deal with these bastards peaceably, that they will come around. Nah, man, devils ain't got no love. So when we looking at, and it's not hidden anymore, it is not a conspiracy anymore. It is not a functioning agenda anymore. It is a matter-of-fact behavior and statement of their being. When you have these melanated toned individuals moving in the symbols which they hijacked. Rainbows, colors of the prism. They hijacked it. It's like they hijack everything else and give it a meaning. And when you buy into that meaning, just like they hijacked the title of man. Okay? I meant man. They hijacked it and put white in front of it. There's no such thing as white men. White man. It is a figment of his own imagination. It is a diseased psyche that creates the white man. But when you believe into it, when you believe in it, you become a victim of his truth. Do you understand that? You become a victim of his truth. So we have to go to the beginnings. Again, we cannot go to the lessons. We cannot go to the degrees. Because everybody doesn't understand it. Everybody doesn't have knowledge of self. And we are not here to be enlighteners of the globe. Okay? It's our duty to teach civilization to the uncivilized. Not to the devils. Okay? Not to the Bill Powers. Right? Not to the Bill Powers. Most of the Bill Powers don't want knowledge of self. Simple as that. So let's take it on, keep it in layman's terms, and keep it real simple since it's already 10 minutes before midnight. I hope y'all got your little nighties on, and you tucked, and you got a little bit of coffee, and your ass is up, because we're going to be here for a while. Oh, yeah. So let's go to the first statements of the Ophe, because we still haven't answered specific questions. Okay? The main question we have to ask is of the fictional or non-fictional place, which is the Garden of Eden. Now, see, when you have a high intelligence, you do know that before they began with these books and these fables, that we were already civilized, that we were already engineers, that we were already building our structures, that we were already speaking language, that we were already in a space that we were in perfect communication and harmony with the universe. Universes. That we had universities. Okay? But we're going to stick with the Ophe story. So, I always want to know, well, where is this space where they had this beautiful space of creation. Eden, right? The location of Eden, the Garden of Eden, is described in the book of Genesis as the source of 4 tributaries. Various suggestions have been made for its location at the head of the Persian Gulf, in southern Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers run into the sea, and in Armenia. Others theorize that Eden was the entire Fertile Crescent, or a region substantial in size in Mesopotamia, where its native inhabitants still exist in cities such as Tel. This is what the old face says, because I'm trying to figure it out. So if that is the space for the Garden of Eden, we should have some type of physical evidence of Adam and Eve. We should, right? In this garden. Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve, where they come across a snake. A talking snake. A talking snake. I've yet to see or hear a snake say shit yet. So I'm not going to keep with that fantasy. I'm not. It's 2025. I ain't hear snake talk, a moose, a rhino, nothing. Giraffe, I ain't hear none of them shits talk, whisper, none of that shit. That's it. If you still believing that a snake whispered, you believing in Santa Claus too. Now that's just an absolute fact. Like the Genesis flood narrative, the Genesis creation narrative, and the account of the Tower of Babel, the story of Eden echoes the Mesopotamian myth of a king as a primordial man who is placed in a divine garden to guard the tree of life. Myth of a king. Myth. As a primordial man. Scholars note that the Eden narrative shows parallels with aspects of Solomon's temple and Jerusalem, attesting to its nature as a sacred place. Mentions of Eden are also made in the Bible elsewhere, in Genesis 13:10, in Isaiah 51:3, Ezekiel 36:35, and Joel 2:3. Zechariah 14 and Ezekiel 47 use paradisical imagery without naming Eden. So again, be mindful of where you sit in your belief systems, because I done heard a lot. Somebody came at me. Again, I don't put anybody business out in the street, and so many of you write and hit and text and DM and all that, claiming a lot. Jesus wasn't white, Jesus was black. A whole lot. A whole lot. We won't get into that too. Biblically speaking, the location of Eden is said to be where people were first created. Biblically speaking. So as you sit in a pocket of capitalist America, okay, who foundations are supposedly highly Roman Catholic Christian. They're telling you that this is the place where people were first created. The first two humans, a butt-naked pair named Adam and Eve, innocently roamed this paradise until a sneaky serpent and a forbidden fruit landed them, and thereby all of humanity in deep trouble. This narrative is said to symbolize how humans fell from a position of childlike innocence and bliss towards a state defined by free will and knowledge, as well as evil and death. So before these first two humans, okay, not saying how long the snake was there though. The talking snake, the whispering snake. When did the whispering snake get there? Because you're saying these are the first two people roaming around. The whispering snake in them was there already then, right? They was chilling. But there's no significant evidence of how they worshiped. Or you're giving them an excuse. You're saying that they didn't have to. They didn't have to. You get what I'm saying? So we got these snakes, or this snake, that was able to whisper in this chick's ear, right? Because you made sure he told the chick. He didn't whisper in Adam's ear, or did he? Did he whisper in Adam's ear and Adam told me to rock out, slide out? I'm not talking to you. Or only the broad ear, thus making the broad evil for all of eternity. And Adam, because he told, like I told y'all before, Adam was the first snitch. Because he ratted on his co-defendant. He did not take the apple. He ate that shit too. Therefore, they're co-defendants in the crime. So Adam snitched. The first human told. So if the first human told, then you tell too. That is your example to be, an upstanding human. Your ass got the snitch. I hope you understanding the psyche in that. Okay? But remember, I'm trying to figure out now because you got dinosaurs, evidence of all that, right? Or we not gonna believe in that. Did we have dinosaurs, condors and dactyls and all that? Did we have that? Because if we had that, did they worship or were they just dummies? Was this almighty being just playing with dinosaurs like we did? When we was in kindergarten and we wanted dinosaurs to play with, was that all-encompassing being of the universes playing with dinosaurs and he got bored and said, you know what? Boom, we need Adam and Eve. Talk about, because I'm saying, talk about it now. Because y'all gonna keep up. Because, this going to be a long one. You got to keep up. Because it's going to bring you to your present state of confusion, of submission. Because you start believing in this weird shit. And you're not trying to leave it alone. As you watching this Garden of Eden, you're watching it in Palestine. You're watching some old phase starve, bomb, unalive children, women, elders in the Garden of Eden. All that is there. Same area. Same area. Look it up. That whole area, like you said, Persian Gulf, southern Mesopotamia, Euphrates rivers and all of that. It continues. The name of the first is Pishon, that it is which compass the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium, and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is what? Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Cush. Now, when you conscious and woke, know the land of Cush is who? The Cush and the Cushites. So Cush and the Cushites never existed before Adam and them. Listen. And the name of the third river is Tigris. That is it which goeth toward the east of Ashur. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. The key here is that it was located where four rivers meet. We also know two of these rivers today, the Tigris and Euphrates, which start in Turkey before flowing through Syria and Iraq and emptying in the Persian Gulf. So this space where this garden should be, right, is filled with drones and bombs and destruction from people who are not even Jewish. Make it make sense. However, it is unclear what the names Pishon and Gihon are referring to. Over the centuries, some theologians have speculated that they might refer to the Ganges in India and the Nile in Egypt, although others have noted that this would entail a vast portion of the earth. Okay, so now here we go with the Ophe. John Calvin, the 16th century theologian, known for his role in the Protestant Reformation, wrote, "Many think that Pishon and Gihon are the Ganges and the Nile. The error, however, of these men is abundantly refuted by the distance of the positions of these rivers. Persons are not wanting who fly across even to the Danube or the Danube, as if indeed the habitation of one man stretched itself from the most remote part of Asia to the extremity of Europe." So now they switching. Now they changing to make the narrative fit. Okay? This is the whitewashing of what people are presently believing in unconsciously, just bowing down to institutions, structures, symbolisms, organizations, brotherhoods. Now, if you don't know, if you're completely unconscious and don't know any of it, no one can blame you. You're just walking and being. If you have the slightest bit of knowledge and information about any of it, it will drive you mad if you are militant. However, if you got knowledge and you submit, then that's on you too. But I'm trying to figure out the beginning is what got us here. The whitewashing, because as you see, they have nothing in their structure speaking of melanated history, facts. Because when you dig and dig and dig, you don't see anything but us. However, when you dig and dig and dig, and none of us gave you the true interpretation of these systems, because you looked weird, you smelled weird. As an Ofe, you were an invader. So I want y'all to tell me, who can come in your home and invade you, and then you're going to teach them your family history? You're going to teach them the functioning of your home. Who? So you mean to tell me that these higher intelligent melanated beings who build pyramids and mathematics are going to sit down and teach invaders and give them the complete science if they could understand it? Because they were savage, beast-like. So they wouldn't be able to understand the degrees. Just like if I gave the layman the 1 to 10. And I said, knowledge is to know. They wouldn't understand it. Knowledge is the foundation of everything in existence. The layman wouldn't understand foundation or existence to be and be born. It would take them years. It would take 85 years to catch up. So you mean to tell me that when people say that the Bible is a black text, that Jesus was black, the apostles was black? I want you to understand what you're saying. You're telling me that in the Ofe interpretation, stealing it from these individuals, that they stole and they printed things that was right and exact. Make it make sense. Because so far, the Garden of Eden shit is filled with a snitch, a snake, or a rat and a snake. All right? Now, when they're saying that the snake was evil, when they're saying that the snake represented Shaitan, Iblis, devil, let's see what melanated history speaks of when it comes to the snake. Okay? The West African kingdom of Dahomey regarded snakes as immortal because they appeared to be reincarnated from themselves when they sloughed their skins. Snakes were often also associated with immortality because they were observed biting their tails to form a circle 360 degrees. And when they coiled, they formed spirals. Both circles and spirals were seen as symbols of eternity, 360 degrees, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This is what the original people thought of snakes. Both circles and spirals were seen as symbols of eternity. This symbol has come to be known as the Ouroboros. The circle was particularly important to the Homerian myth, where the snake god Dogon circled the world like a belt, corseting it and preventing it from flying apart in splinters. In Egyptian myth, the state of existence before creation was symbolized as Amduat, a many-coiled serpent from which Ra the sun and all of creation arose, returning each night and being reborn every morning. Nothing of evil. So if anything, if this is the snake, when it comes to people who look like us, if this is their history and understanding of the snake is going to whisper what? Jewels. If this is a tree of life, the snake is telling you to eat the apple so you can get knowledge of self. And knowledge of self is a higher state of being. It brings you out of the triple stage of darkness. So when you believe in Christianity and the Bible, because the old faith tells you these fables, you are backwards. Oh. Don't mean to ruffle your feathers. Don't mean to ruffle your feathers. Okay? Also, in Norse mythology, the snake biting its tail symbolizes the sea as the eternal ring which enclosed the world. In Egypt, the snake has healing abilities. Hymns and offerings were made to it since it was believed that the goddess could manifest through the snake. In a hymn to the goddess Mert Segar, a workman on the necropolis of Thebes relates how the goddess came to him in the form of a snake to heal his illness. That don't sound like evil to me. In Sarah cosmogony and religion, the serpent is the symbol of the Pan-Goal, the saints and ancestral spirits of the Sera people of West Africa. When a person dies, the Sera believe that their soul must make its way to Janwi, a place where good souls go. Before the soul can reach, in order to reincarnate, it must transform into a black snake. During this transformation, the snake hides in a tree. For this reason, it is taboo in Sera culture to unalive snakes. A great degree of respect is afforded to snakes in Sera culture, as they are the very embodiment and symbol of their saints and ancestral spirits. Like their Sera counterparts, the Dogon people of Mali also have great reverence for the serpent. The serpent plays an active role in Dogon religion and cosmogony. The mythology of the Dogon primordial ancestor Lebe is based almost entirely on a serpent mythology. In their traditional African religious belief, they say that the serpent guided the Dogon people from Mande to the Bandiagara escarpment when they decided to migrate to flee Islamization and persecution. Uh-oh. I don't see no evil. But keep following the old faith. It's the story of their evolution. To know how these reptiles evolved, we need to turn to the right storytellers. They're fossils. Snakes form one of the major groups within in reptiles alive today, accompanied by lizards, crocodiles, and turtles. However, despite being infamous, evolution of snakes is least studied. Okay? Least studied. This is because the ancestors of snakes had bodies that were even more fragile, and therefore their preserved remains or fossils are few. Most fossils that have lasted over time contain incomplete elements to conduct conclusive studies. These petrified remains of extinct species are all scientists have to understand how the animal evolved. So I'm asking you again, when this snake that came from lizards and crocodiles and turtles, did this snake lose its tongue, lose its ability to speak? Did it get old and all of a sudden don't know? What was the language of Adam and Eve? Or were Adam and Eve like the dog whisperer? They just looked at, they knew what the snakes and everything else was saying. They just looked. Because I don't know what a snake is saying. I can't look at no animal and understand nothing unless they showing their fangs. I know they gonna bite me. Yeah, I know what that means. But I can't look at a snake and the snake tell me, yo, go over there and eat that corn. That doesn't make sense to me. That either we are stupid now and can't talk to the animals, or the animals were so smart back then. I'm trying to figure it out. I want you to make this shit make sense. I don't believe in fables and symbolisms. Make that shit make sense. Okay? Because I'm trying to figure it out. It is widely believed that the snakes evolved from lizards belonging to the Varanidae family. Today, varanids are represented by monitor lizards, making them the closest living relatives of snakes. Over time, the descendants of these prehistoric varanids began losing their legs, giving rise to several transitional forms between snakes and lizards. Which is why in jail, when we see rainbow dudes or dudes that's in transition, we call them lizards. Because they slither around cell to cell trying to get their grippers blown. Lizards. So if you ever heard me use that term and you didn't know what it meant, that's what it means, lizards. Okay? Through fossil studies, paleontologists have been able to point out 4 such extinct genera of snakes. Okay? All species under them had stubby, vestigial hind limbs. These are the earliest forms of snakes, date back to ancient times, and are commonly referred to as proto-snakes. Scientists believe that Euphotopophis was a marine proto-snake, along with other snakes. Its fossils were located in the Middle East, whereas the remains of Najash were found in South America. So this is where the old faith started playing with science, started playing with religion, started playing with what they thought they understood. And what some of you are going to adopt and say, well, they didn't mean it like that. We're going to put a black face on it. and give it some meaning. And it hasn't worked because they didn't know what the hell they was doing back then. The true beings didn't elaborate. They didn't teach them shit. So everything that you doing now is backwards, which is why you keep wondering how come you staying stuck. How come you can sit in the church and allow pastor to milk you of all your resources? Pastor milk you for your resources. The government milk you for your resources. And the crackheads and dope fiends that the pastor tell you to keep in your house and pray for, taking all your resources. And you just sitting there stuck, looking up to the sky, asking why. Looking in the book and saying, yo, where is the out for this? The book is backwards. The book is backwards. Again, if it don't fit, don't put your toe in it. Because you want me to believe that somebody as evil as Yaqub's grafted is going to understand the science of the original people, put it in a book and give it to you. I keep telling y'all, that's like somebody coming to East New York and saying that you understand our slang and you say something and get your head popped off because you don't know you're being disrespectful. Okay? Now, this proves that these unique reptiles were already diversifying in different ecological niches and geographical locations even before losing their limbs. These reptiles coexisted with dinosaurs during the geologic period of the Cretaceous. However, it was only after the dinosaurs went extinct that they truly came into their own. So now, a snake was here. Snakes was here after the dinosaurs. With the dinosaurs, after the dinosaurs, they was able to boogie. Way before Adam and Eve. How did they worship? Or did they not? What is the spirituality of a snake? Don't say it's a beast and they don't have spirituality. Don't say it's a beast and they don't have feelings. Because y'all got them raggedy, musty ass dogs in your house. And y'all love them. And y'all say that them beasts love y'all. So that means you're communicating with the beast and the beast is communicating with you. So what is their method of praising the Most High? Since you connect with these shits. The snake had to connect, didn't he? Because you said he spoke to Eve and made her bite that apple. Let's continue. Let's continue. Yeah, because we're gonna have fun today. We're gonna have fun today. Yeah. We're gonna have fun today. Again, don't mean to ruffle. Don't mean to ruffle. But you gonna tell me why Lil Baby is wearing a rainbow pink outfit and on his wall is a Roy G. Biv Candyland picture enticing kids with the game Candyland the way that they were enticing little boys and little girls back in the days. Lil Baby, the good Christian, Lil Baby that go to church. All of these little individuals that's rainbow, Pastor Brian, telling a grown man his legs is pretty and must be lanolated and all this other weirdness. Okay? Okay? Let's continue. We went from your biblical text, from your Adam, your Eve, your Garden of Eden, your snake. We already proved that the snake is not evil when it comes to us. So you can't tell me that the old faith took that book and broke it down and then gave it to us, but we supposed to interpret it as a piece that came from us. When we already proved that we thought the snake in high regards. So that don't make sense. But moving, let's go into the Christ. What does the Quran say about Jesus Christ? Okay? All right? The Quran says he is not God. The Quran says he is not part of the Trinity. Islam utterly and unequivocally rejects the doctrine of the Trinity. He is a prophet. He is one of the most important prophets. He came to warn about the overly legalistic understanding of the religion by the Jews. He is the word of God. O Mary, Allah giveth thee glad tidings of a word from him, and we breathed into her body our spirit. He is born of Virgin Mary, who is considered the most holy woman among the mankind. The Virgin Mary. But Eve is a mess. Eve was the first woman that was a mess. And because Eve was the mess, we all were cursed. Everybody. That's what they say. But now you got this Virgin Mary. What did she do to make her holy, the most holy woman among mankind? What did she do? I thought Eve and them messed it up for everybody. Because of the snake that talk. He was a carpenter or a handyman. That's Jesus. He performed miracles, speaking as an infant, making a clay bird come alive, healing the blind and the lepers. This is everything he did. Nobody's done it since. Nobody. Nobody walk on water since. Everybody drowned. Your ass walk on the ice and the ice break, you out of here. Not Jesus. Nobody's done it since. He spoke as an infant. Okay? He was betrayed by one of his disciples. This is what the Quran teaches. He was not crucified in actuality. It was made to appear that he was crucified. He did not die in the usual sense, thus he did not atone for our sins. He was raised up to a heavenly realm. He was not resurrected because he did not die. However, he was raised up. He is still alive in some sense in that heavenly realm. This is what they believe. Okay? That's what Muslims believe. That's what's in the Quran. Early Christian theology, when Christianity movement is headed by James and Islamic theology are more common, Islam rejects the Pauline affirmations. He will return back from the heavenly realm to ours at the end times. Okay? There will be a fierce competition between the believers and the non-believers. In this struggle, non-believers headed by the Antichrist will make significant headway initially. However, Mahdi, supported and strengthened by Jesus, will defeat the non-believers in this struggle. This is their beliefs. Okay? Stay there. Stay there. Muslim beliefs, Christian beliefs. One says Jesus is a prophet. The others say Jesus is the Messiah. Somewhere along those two belief systems, we are following the Greco-Romans, right? The Roman Empire, who had a significant hold on what the globe was doing, and even to this day, this is what you following. This is what you following. If you don't believe me, this is what you following. The Greco-Romans, the popes. Do you understand? Because they ran through everybody. Okay? However, they had some issues. And their issues are prevalent today. Very prevalent today. Okay? So we dealt with the what? The demonization of Eve, women. You listen to the snake. We ain't messing with you. Matter of fact, we're going to snitch on you. So men and women were at odds way back. From the rip. Adam snitched. The first snitch. The first man on the planet was a rat. Nobody says whether he's black or not. Nobody. You can find a descriptive of Jesus, but you can't find a description of Adam. Can you? Am I right or wrong? Somebody tell me what Adam looked like. Let me know. Because y'all mentioned him. If you mentioned him and her, what did they look like other than naked? What did they look like? It said Jesus had woolly hair. Right? Skin of bronze. This is what y'all said. So what did Adam look like? Okay. So now, the Greco-Romans say, you know what, damn that. We got this. That's what y'all rocking with. We got this. And they ran with it to this very day. I told y'all over and over again, we are still in the same realm. We're in the same war. We're fighting the Romans right now. That's why the record industry in Hollywood keep toga parties going. Okay? But homosexual tendencies weren't frowned upon in Roman culture per se. Okay? Granted, they might earn you the derision of your macho, materialistic cohort. But as long as sexual favors were given for the purpose of advancing your own political career, they could be overlooked. So the politics of the Roman Empire said, you could give up them grippers as long as you are elevating in your own political career. They don't care if you give up your grippers or take somebody grippers. In the Greco-Roman Empire, y'all still worshiping the Pope? The Vatican and Rome? Huh? Talk about it. At least it showed some degree of interest in the proper political values an upper class Romans should have. Okay? This didn't exonerate Caesar in his colleagues' eyes. But when Gaius, Curio, an orator, an outspoken opponent of Caesar, called him a man to every woman and a woman to every man, it at least took some of the sting out of the tale. Yeah. They call your man Caesar a biatch. Yeah. This is documented. Documented. And somebody give me the date of Julius Caesar. Somebody give the date of Julius Caesar. Put it in the chat, please, while we go on. In Rome, such allegations were scandalous, just like today. Scandalous. Oh, God, freak-offs. Baby oil. Scandalous. I keep telling y'all, we in the same time. Scandalous. Huh? In Rome, such allegations were scandalous. Just like the gossip that people go, ooh, wee. Yeah. Little baby getting drunk bro hugs from the back. He wearing paint. He got rainbows on his wall. Scandalous. Yeah. Meek Mill soaking his little grippers in a tub. Scandalous. Yeah. Scandalous. Being accused of having passive, quote unquote, passive relations with a man was a significant insult meant to tarnish the reputation of young Roman men. Critics used this against Caesar and with Cicero, one of his fiercest adversaries, making pointed remarks about the benefits Rome supposedly received from Nicodemus. Gaius Curio, one of Rome's elected magistrates, dubbed Caesar, again, every man's wife and every woman's husband. And even Caesar's soldiers sang mocking songs, saying, Caesar gives his grippers up, Caesar gives his grippers up. This is Caesar. Despite Caesar's denials under oath, the rumors persisted. This is common practice, denial. Like your man Johnny Gill just denied it. It ain't nobody business. I keep my private life private. But no, sir, I'm not with that. Denial. See, that's habit for that's they deny it. And it's cool, it's fine. Be down low. We understand because Caesar did it. Let's continue. The Romans persisted. Repeated by notable figures like Cicero, poet Lysanias Calvus, and Gaius, Memmius, another Roman magistrate. After Caesar's bloody demise, Mark Antony accused Octavian, Caesar's heir, of having slept with Caesar to secure his position. Greco-Romans, Catholic, Christians. The question remains, did Caesar have a gay relationship? While concrete evidence is lacking, the context of Roman sexuality must be considered. Old phase. This is old phase history, documented. This has nothing to do with melanin, with melanated people. Nothing. But y'all follow their systems to this day. Wholeheartedly, you go in. You want to politic. You want to be a democracy. You want to follow their constitutions and their Roman columns and structures and say, nah, that's Freemasons. We did that. No, you didn't. If you did, you wasn't doing it from the original space because the original never would have taught no savage who couldn't read, write, understand. How? How could they teach them? And when they came over and was strong enough, they fought and destroyed Egypt. Why would they teach them Freemasonry? You make it make sense. So you ain't built Washington, D.C. That's not from you. Caesar's broader legacy also challenges modern perceptions. His political reforms, extension of citizenship, and defiance of conservative elites marked him as a transformative yet controversial figure. His flamboyant dress and mannerisms contributed to his complex image. He was a flame, something like T-47 in him. Defiance of conservative elites. Are you not hearing that with T-47? Transformative yet controversial figure. Do you see how they are making an attempt to re-establish the Greco-Roman Empire? Maybe hardcore. Okay? Assigning modern labels to historical figures is complicated. Whether or not Julius Caesar had a physically intimate relationship with Nicodemus IV, his story fits a pattern seen in other historical great men like Alexander the Great and Frederick the Great, who also had documented same-sex relationships. These figures reshaped their worlds while defying conventional norms of masculinity and leadership, which is why when you want to be a boss and you claiming you a boss and you dealing with O-Face because O-Face can make you a boss and get you to the bag, you are defying conventional norms of masculinity and leadership. That's why y'all wearing purses. That's why you're wearing lipstick, Busta Rhymes. That's why you are wearing funny ass shoes and shorts and all type of weirdness. Because you are transforming into the no phase. Conventional norms of masculinity and leadership gone. Because you want to sit with the old phase. You want that bag. Bitch ass niggers. That's what it is. Let's continue. It was not just Octavian's submission to men that his enemies picked up on. Not even Octavian's allies could deny his proclivity for adultery. Proclivity, LL Cool J's new song on his album, Proclivities. I just thought the word fit. Proclivities. Yeah. Keep proclivity in your goddamn records, LL. Keep it up. And we'll see why Russell made you his number one. Keep it up. Okay? Not even Octavian's allies could deny his proclivity for adultery, although they stressed that he was motivated by politics rather than passion. Another song on LL's album. Passions, proclivities, trying to make sure you keep the bag by taking on the old faith terms, the old faith positions. Okay? Yeah. All right? In what appears to us today as being a bare demonstration of power, Augustus was once said to have taken the wife of an ex-consul from a banqueting table to his bedroom, returning with her a while later, her hair disheveled and her ears glowing. So already swinging. This is Roman. This is the ancient Romans swinging already. Okay? His friends would routinely procure women for him and, like slave dealers, strip them down for him to inspect and select. Most shockingly, his later wife, Lavia, would do the same, but exclusively to satisfy his penchant for deflowering virgins. It's ancient Rome. So you're dealing with men, you're dealing with slaves, you're dealing with virgins. This is how they get down. So when you're seeing Epstein Island, this is nothing new. This is the Ophe. This is what they do. But y'all want to be shocked and surprised. Why? Because you don't stay in the history of your enemy. Augustus had 3 wives, but was faithful to none. The Ophe, Donald Trump. How many wives? Okay. How many wives any of the billionaires got? Augustus had 3 wives, but was faithful to none. A recurring pattern in the sex lives of the Caesars. Just not one Julius Caesar. Caesar's the title. It's like it's not one president. President is the title. The prime minister is the title. You never have just one. So you're mimicking Greco-Roman values, morals, laws, codes. But y'all want to do the shit too. So you become fraternity brothers. You become police officers. You become politicians. Because you're swearing oaths and getting rituals and getting hazed and playing in each other behind. Let's continue. His first wife, Claudia Pulchra, he divorced to cement a political alliance with the family of his second wife. However, feeling that the second nagged him too much, he divorced her too as soon as she had given birth to their daughter, Julia. Okay? This is how they move. This is textbook Ofe. But if you want to keep believing in them, you can. If you keep wanting to see good in them, you can. Okay? As a young man, Tiberius was relatively restrained, as he had to be amidst the prying eyes of the capital as a potential heir apparent. Okay? It was only during his self-imposed exile in the villa of Jupiter on the island of Capri, where millions of tourists still flock every year. They go to the Isle of Capri when y'all want a vacation. I want to go to Rome. I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Spain. And Diddy had y'all on the Saint Tropez and all that, going around the Euros, buying Versace and Louis. This is the Isle of Capri. You know what Tiberius was doing? And who Tiberius is? The child of the Caesars. Hold on now. The walls of the imperial palace were awash with pornographic imagery. Pornographic imagery. This is Romans. So when you saying, well, damn, how come we got xxn.com and Pornhub and all? Because it been there. This shit was in Rome. This is their nature. So if you are enslaved by them, you're going to be influenced by them. You're going to be educated by them. You're going to learn. The thing is, you got to fight and resist it so you don't become them. You can't want what they want. Okay, let's continue. The walls of the imperial palace were awash with pornographic imagery, much like that still on display inside the brothel in Pompeii. And with pornography as his backdrop, Tiberius would command his tight bums, a group of young boys whose talents are clear from the name, to perform threesomes in front of him to stimulate his flagging libido. That sounds so much like a ditty, like the Puffster. I wonder where he got it from, all them trips to Saint Tropez. This is Tiberius. Pornography on the walls, young boys doing they do while he's trying to stimulate his little wood. This is the people y'all choose to follow. Y'all don't follow them? Okay, we're going to find out. Okay? From depravity to simple stripped down sadism, the banquets, Tiberius would ply his drinking companions with wine before tying, oh my goodness, ligatures around their penises to prevent them from peeing. This is what they do. This is what Tiberius did. Drink this wine. Drink this wine, and then let me tie this around your thing so you can't use the bathroom. This is what y'all do. According to a historian of the era, Tiberius trained infants he called his little fish to swim between his thighs while he took a bath and nibble on his genitalia. This is documented Roman history. Documented. This is this. Okay? And that's not even the most horrendous. We're also told that he would take newborn babies from their mothers and hold them to his genitals, hoping they would suckle as if upon their mother's breast. This is Greco-Roman. Versace, Caligula, symbols. This is European fashions. Louis Vuitton. This is the Europeans. Why are all the rappers in Paris this summer? Why are all the actors in Paris this summer? What are they doing over there? You think they just doing shows? They're being initiated. They're there having rituals, learning how to be Greco-Romans. This is what they do. Tiberius buggered 2 boys during a sacrificial ceremony on Capri. And when they complained, he had their legs broken. He also SA'd aristocratic women, causing one woman, Malonia, such trauma that she was driven to unalive herself. So he busting dudes' grippers down, and when they complain, he break their legs. Like his uncle Caligula, he essayed the wives of senators, replicating a vice we see often in the lives of the Caesars. These are all of the Caesars. These are all of the Caesars. This is who y'all follow when y'all want to get to the bag. This is it. These are the people you're asking reparations from. Damn. Nero also devised an utterly bizarre sex game in which he would dress up in wild animal pelt, and they're doing that now. They're called furries, and they're trying to go to Congress to get laws passed for them. Don't believe me, look it up. The furry movement, people dressing up in furry outfits like animals. Sonic the Hedgehog and them, and they wailing on each other. Okay? You understand? Let's continue. Nero also devised an utterly bizarre S-game in which he would dress up in wild animal pelt, sally forth from a cage, and attack the genitalia of men and women who were tied to nearby stakes. Once he had enough, he would be run through by his husband, Pythagoras, while moaning in the words like a Vestal virgin being deflowered. This is a grown-ass man dressing up as an animal, attacking people's genitals while they tied up, and then go and let his husband bang his grippers out while he screamed like a Vestal virgin being deflowered. This is them writing about themselves. This isn't melanated people writing about them. This is their own history. Still, nothing should surprise us about someone whose philosophical principle was that no man was truly pure or chaste, but merely concealed their vices behind a veil of decency. This is what they think, that nobody is chaste, that you just hiding, that nobody is solid, you just on the down low. So we gotta make sure. So we gotta get you drunk, we gotta tie you up, we gotta do all these things until your true nature comes out. What kind of these are the old phase though. They took your entire history, destroyed it. Encyclopedias, temples, pyramids, hieroglyphs, took all that so you don't know anything. But in their documented history, this is how they move. How dare you believe in their systems, in their institutions? How dare you? How dare you look at them as a symbol of strength? How dare you fear them? The hell's the matter with y'all? They weirdos. Yes, his husband, Bernie. Granted, Nero was no Mother Teresa, but it's also hard to reconcile his mother effing, wife unaliving, slave marrying, SAing, pelt wearing persona with the fact that he managed to retain power for almost 14 years. You heard that right. He was doing his mama, unaliving his wives, marrying slaves, SAing everybody, wearing goddamn animals' fur. Wildin'. This is Nero. But when Hollywood make movies of these people, we never watched them. We didn't watch the black and white movies. We didn't see ourselves, so we didn't watch it. You didn't start watching movies until you started seeing Stephen Fetcher and all of them up in there. Then you wanted to watch. You better watch Turner Broadcasting. Oh, they stopped showing that because people were seeing the science and the savagery of the Ofe. Okay? Yeah, we 100-something minutes in. Y'all still here? Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Fund the war effort because y'all going to stop with this dumb shit. Y'all going to stop believing in these rappers. Y'all going to stop believing in these athletes and these actors and these fake politicians and fake-ass activists. Y'all going to stop it because they sit in the pocket with these Ofes. And I'm telling you because I see them. Smile with them. Vibrate with them. Call them friends. You don't think y'all being influenced by them? You don't think you being influenced by them? Let's go. Y'all gonna stop messing with me. Doop, 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 doop. Yeah, I'm having fun. Good old time. I'm having a great time tonight. Woo-wee. Ancient roots of the United States government, Greek and Roman influences. This is not me. I didn't make this up. Did you know that the United States government was inspired by ancient civilizations like the Greeks and Romans? These two great civilizations laid the foundation for many aspects of our government, from democracy to the rule of law. One of the most significant contributions of ancient Greece to the United States government is the idea of democracy. In ancient Athens, citizens had the right to participate in decision-making and had a say in how their city-state was run. The principle of rule by the people is similar to what we have in the United States, where citizens elect representatives to make laws and govern on their behalf. While our modern democracy is much larger and more complex, its roots can be traced back to the ancient Greeks. So the ancient Greeks, these people who are tying people to the stake, running around like wild animals, biting them on the grippers, and then going around and throwing their grippers in the air until their husband pound them out until they scream and wailing. These are the people who you follow. These are the people who tell you you should vote and you believe in the vote. These are the people who said you got rights, but you never see the rights. These are the people who say, oh, turn a blind eye to police brutality. These are the people you think you're going to get reparations. These are the people who could tell you anything and you believe them without doing a bit of research, the Greco-Romans' influence on this government. The ancient Romans also played a vital role in shaping the United States government. They introduced the concept of the separation of powers, dividing the government into three branches: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. This system ensured a balance of power, preventing any one person or group from becoming too powerful. The U.S. government, with its president, Congress, and Supreme Court, adopted this idea to ensure a fair and just system of government, but it don't work. Because now this president has control of the Congress and the Supreme Court. Both the Greeks and Romans believed in the importance of the rule and law. Okay? The United States government has deep-rooted connections to ancient Greece and Rome. From the principles of democracy, separation of powers, to the rule of law, and to the design of important buildings and symbols, these ancient civilizations have left a lasting impact on how we govern ourselves. So in the cut of how the Caesars was ruling, you don't think that there's no swearing in, there's no rituals that have to do with somebody getting their grippers blown out in order to become a governor, a president, a senator, a businessman, a priest of a mega church? So they just left that part. They just left that part out of it. Something that's in their core, in their nature, that they can't do without. There has never been a Caesar that hasn't been going both ways, which is why this is policy now. The reason why Roman history forms such a large part of political debate, both inside and outside the American colonies, was that it was a common reference point for the educated class. They learned about ancient Rome as school children and could easily understand the connotations and different figures, terms, and events. That's why the colonies adopted. They learned that, but you couldn't read. They didn't want you to read English or learn Latin, right? The language of their courts and judicial systems, Latin. You being melanated, indigenous to this land, indigenous to the whole planet, didn't want you to read. All right? But their reading, their reference points come from Rome. Caesar, Tiberius, Nero, all of them running in each other grippers. Dastardly shit. With this shared knowledge and appreciation for the faults and strengths of ancient Rome, it was commonplace for authors to assume Roman pseudonyms for anonymous publications. This would often help to signal the author's political leanings or make fun of their opponents. Evidence of how Roman history unfolded was provided by the literary works of politicians, historians, and writers who lived during the period between the fall of the Republic in the mid-1st century BC and the birth of the empire in the mid-century AD. The speeches of Cicero and the bravery of Brutus and Cassius provided role models for admirers of classical republicanism. Tacitus, the Republican historian of imperial Rome, was also a crucial source. They all wrote when the Republic was under threat or had already been dismantled. These writers look back to a golden age of Roman republicanism that they never actually experienced. This is the influence of the colonies. Roman. Okay? Equally, this created a demonology of republicanism that still echoes today. Caesarism was an accusation that has been leveled at Alexander Hamilton, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, both Roosevelts, Richard Nixon, and Donald Trump. They say that they act like Caesar. They don't let you know that language. They will never act like Caesar around you. Or, since we are ignorant to the true history of Caesar, they could be doing Caesar-like things in front of us and we wouldn't know. Why? Because we don't read about our enemy. We don't study our enemy. We so woke and conscious that we only read black stuff. Like that's going to help. While modern readers might have a fascination with the achievements of the Roman emperors, the founding fathers had no time for praising the men that they had believed to be tyrants and despots. Okay? The misdemeanors of the Roman Empire became intertwined with opposition to absolute monarchy and tyrannical government. Roman histories, right, demonstrated how imperial expansion to the east led Republican Rome towards luxury and then corruption and finally the loss of liberty. This is what we're doing now. This is where we at. We expanded in this country. The gold rush, expansion, annihilating the indigenous people. Luxury, the 50s McCarthyism, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s Wall Street boom, the 90s, luxury, and now the loss of liberty. Vast new wealth, they argued, reduced the ability of someone's personal virtue to help them progress, giving way to a hierarchy defined by birth and inheritance. This is where we at. This is where we at. But y'all still want the bag. Y'all still want to be business people. Y'all want LLCs. You want good credit. You want to establish yourself as eye to eye with the Ofe. You want to be in good standing, good credit with the Ofe. So you're going to have to adopt his beliefs and behaviors and code switching and language and marketability and articulate. Right? Because that's what you want. You don't want freedom. You don't want liberation. You want to be comfortable in your oppression, so you want to model yourself like the Ofe. Let's go. Adultery, scrape, and S deviation. Adultery in Rome was considered a woman's crime and thus carried consequences that disproportionately affected the lives of Roman women. So if you were assaulted as a woman in Rome, it was your fault. But you want to keep dating the Ofe. You want to date white. You want to get Chad and a Zaddy. You want to freely allow yourself every night to be scraped. Because they don't think nothing about your black musty ass. They don't. They don't. In accordance with Roman law, a Roman man was required either to enact a public divorce in the case of an adulterous wife, or he would face charges, okay, which entailed the keeping of female slaves for prostitution. So you could say she was adulterous. You could say the wife was adulterous. You got to charge her, and then they give you. You could have mad hoes because your wife, yeah. Okay. In Roman society and law, adultery was defined as an affair between a married woman and a man who was not her husband. As a result, this codified adultery as a woman's crime. You see, this is where it's at. But you blame black men who y'all want to treat y'all the way the old Faye treat his wife. Yeah, because Karen and Becky don't pay 50-50. They in the house. They don't have to cook. They don't have to clean. They in the house. They're getting taken care of. They get heirs. Yeah. So black men treat me like that. Take me on vacations. I want the Birkin bag. I want to live like Becky and Amy, not knowing Becky and Amy is enslaved. But keep telling black women to go ahead and mess with them, even though they unaliving them. They keeping to the Roman Empire. Romans didn't care about a woman or a child. They'll unalive you like it ain't nothing. But y'all like that. Okay, keep it up. Keep sharing these stupid ass TikToks with these black women. And allow y'all content creators, y'all black women that keep putting that narrative out there, not knowing how sinful and dangerous that shit is. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. And one day you're going to wake up and say, what have I done? Okay? As a result, this codified adultery as a woman's crime, leading a husband's affair with a slave or prostitute to not be considered legitimate grounds for divorce or legal action. These norms of Roman law and society applied a double standard and always judged women's misbehavior more harshly than men's. For example, under Augustus's law, adultery was subject to criminal penalties, and in late antiquity, such penalties could even include being unalived. Considering the preference of Roman law for monetary or correctional punishment as opposed to corporal punishment, the inclusion of being unalived as punishment should indicate a profound importance. Following from such a lethal double standard, in the case of adultery, wives could not charge their husbands, as intercourse with a married man was not legally coded as adultery. But y'all like that. Y'all want to be around them. Another form of and gender deviation, which resulted in gender discrimination in Roman law, is homosexuality. The modern concept of homosexuality or sexual same-sex relationships did not exist. Further, Romans did not divide activity into same-sex relations being bad and different sex relationships being good. Rather, Romans considered relations between men and boys to be acceptable and relations between two adult men to be bad. Access to little boys' grippers. That's Roman law. access to little boys' grippers, getting up in their garanimals and underoos and stuff. This understanding on the basis of status and age as opposed to gender may indicate to a potential lack of gendered consideration in regards to Roman attitudes towards homosexual activity. This is what it is. In ancient Rome, the act of being penetrated or passive homosexuality was considered feminine and condemned on account of divergence from the hypermasculinity of the paterfamilias. As a result, engagement in passive homosexual acts was more strictly punished in the edict than other forms of non-heterosexual sex acts, as passive homosexuality reversed the sexual roles prescribed to men as dominant and women as submissive, challenging the notion. Listen, man, listen. Y'all keep following these people. Keep following. Keep following these people if y'all want to. This is where we at. These are y'all people. Y'all follow them, though. Y'all follow them. What? Bliz, what? Yo, listen. Listen, we got 2 hours in. Listen. This is the look. With masculinity largely not a legal issue in and of itself, the difficulties arose rather with the ascription of distinctive legal capacities on the basis of biological maleness. These ascriptions can be seen in Roman attitudes toward transsexuals, now referred to as transgender, in addition to homosexuals. In Roman society, gender presentation, in addition to sexuality, was a mode in which gender discrimination manifested itself. For a Roman man deliberately to imitate the behavior of the opposite sex was not merely unbecoming, it was self-degradation. Transvestism, as such, however, was no crime. It formed the subject of a joke. Although not considered a crime, the consideration of a male to female gender identity as nothing more than a joke indicates that some level of social gender discrimination existed and inhibited the lives of transgender, homosexual, and gender non-confirming Romans. This their behavior. Oh, y'all thought it was new. Oh, y'all thought it was hip-hop. Y'all thought it was commercial rap, was pushing. Nah, man, nah. This is ancient Rome. Yeah. Been here. Yeah. In Puritan New England, as in Roman law, adultery was legally defined as a S affair between married woman and a man who is not her husband. Thus, such a definition provided a loophole for married men with unmarried women. The most unyielding limitation that Puritans placed on S relations is that it should not interfere with religion. Adultery considered a crime not only in the eyes of the law, but also a crime against the church, was punishable by unalivement. This is where it's at. This is what they was doing. Okay? Right? So now we get to currents. Right? Because y'all want to follow them, right? Now, again, let's go back. The Garden of Eden, Adam, and then Eve, and then the snake. Right? The snake talked. Adam bit it. He ate the apple with Eve. They co-defendants. Adam snitched. Yeah. Yeah, Adam snitched. And now everybody's supposedly been cursed until Mary came along and birthed the Christ. And through the Christ and his teachings, you get the Greco-Romans running around. And they took whatever was left. But we do remember they was on his ass. Okay? Right? So now you have been influenced by these nasty Romans all the way up until the colonial period. And the presidents mirroring the Caesars. So if they mirroring the Caesars in politics and in war, of course, in the culture, which is Hollywood, they're going to mirror them as well. So you see all of that in their art. So now when you get somebody that's running for New York City mayor, having people making these type of statements, you'll understand why I'm always asking, why is Busta Rhymes wearing a rainbow shirt? Why is he wearing so much lipstick? Why is Adam 22? I don't have to know why Adam 22 is sniffing a man's grippers on national, sniffing a black man's grippers, talking about you smell good on national TV, all on social media. Because that's in his nature. Okay? Right? While Charles Barkley is saying, bless you if you are gay. Bless you if you are trans. And if you don't like it, F you. If you got a problem with it. While you see Spike Lee wearing purses. While Jennifer Hudson's son is making statements like, would you still love me if I said I was gay? While you having women from overseas using their little boys as makeup tutorials and making up their whole face. This ain't. Nah, that ain't people who want to be free and liberated. But again, I sit here consistently, day in, night out, trying to jar your head and wake you up. A Democratic Socialist of America leader boasted that the left-wing group helped write Zohran Mamdani's radical trans rights platform, which pledges to turn the Big Apple into an LGBTQIA plus sanctuary city and punish hospitals for not performing gender reassignment surgery on minors. Y'all think this shit just come from nowhere. Members of the DSA touted their apparently close ties with the campaign of the leading mayoral candidate and his staff while speaking at the Socialism 2025 conference in Chicago last month. Videos have just surfaced. The Zoran campaign was always eager to work with us. We're like that. NYC DSA member Daniel bragged during a conference panel discussion, gesturing with two crossed fingers to demonstrate their closeness. He said they like this, okay? We wrote the platform with him. The team was so happy to work with us on this, and now he's going to be mayor. He then trumpeted a plan for the city to pay for trans surgeries for all, and not just in the Big Apple. Zoran is literally attempting to do what conservatives say we want to do, which is provide gender-affirming care to anyone who wants it for free. He said, vowing, we're going to fly people in and pay for their hotel rooms. He added, we collaborated with the Zoran Mamdani campaign on his trans rights platform, and what we explicitly wanted to do was to use the power of New York City to provide free gender-affirming care, not just to people in New York City, but across the country. Then he appeared to downplay the cost of the scheme when people asked him. New York City could provide trans health care for every trans person in the country who can't afford it, and it would be a blip on our radar. This is how stupid they talk. This is where it's at. So you don't see nobody talk about no reparations. You don't see anybody talk about black men. You don't see anybody talking about helping and ensuring quality education for youth or healthcare for elders. You think that's an accident? This is what they do because they're Romans. This is Greco-Roman Empire talk. So when you see a bunch of them in your hood, that's not an accident. Not an accident. And if you think it's new, we just did the whole history. This ain't new. Not at all. Grippergate is in full effect. So when you see rappers playing and unapologetic, when Pusha T is wearing purses and skirts and shoes and funny and getting their nails painted and unapologetic about it, how dare you consider that hip hop and call it the best? When Pharrell is twinning with Cynthia Erivo and they weird shit, how dare you give it attention? When Dapper Dan is in white lace shirts and you see Guillermo, Jim Jones, not in a sheer purple blouse, but he in a sheer lace white. Y'all better start thinking what's going on uptown. Lace long sleeve button ups and shit Prince would wear. I'm telling you. I better, man, listen. And it ain't. I'm gonna tell you now, it ain't new. If you as old as I am and you remember running around 42nd Street and having these eerie feelings with these eerie white dudes running around and having to be tough. See, again, many people believe that dudes who say they was street and tough and hard rocks and running around thugs and gangsters, y'all think that that's something that dudes wanted to do. No. In order to be out, in order to experience, in order to learn your world, in order to get in the culture and move around, you had to have some type of thickness with you. Because all type of shit was running around. Case in point, a lot of y'all never heard of and probably won't unless I tell you and jar some people memories of when we used to go to the Deuce and we used to see, and all the S shops was up there and all the peep shows, and it was a dirty, filthy Deuce, and you go up in there in the game room, either on the Deuce or 46th Street, and you was wary because you seen these white men up in there. The hell they doing? And we had to learn real quick who they were and how to move and maneuver. NAMBLA. Do y'all remember that? No, y'all probably don't. The North American Man-Boy Love Association. Y'all don't know that, do you? I'm hipping you to something, man. This ain't new. This is Greco-Roman stuff. This is the old phase. These are the people you want to model yourself after. You want your kids to be educated by and get certificates and degrees. These people, the North American Man-Boy Love Association, NAMBLA, is a Pedialyte and Peter Asti Advocacy Association in the United States. It works to abolish age of consent laws, criminalizing adult S involvement with minors, and campaigns for the release of men who have been jailed for S contact with minors that did not involve what it considers coercion. They used to pass out their leaflets in the street publicly. Like it was nothing. No FBI, no ICE, no DEA, no Homeland Security, no feds, no nothing. They did whatever they wanted to do. Recruiting, snatching. Boys. This is out in the open. Not hidden. NAMBLA, founded December 2nd, 1978. The founder, David Thorstad. It dissolved in 2006, 19 years ago, which just means it just went underground. Type, unincorporated association. Focus, Pedialyte activism. Location, New York City and San Francisco. Method, removing age of consent laws. Removing age of consent laws. Do you know what that means? 7, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, they can consent. No statutory. This was out in the open. All up and down the Deuce, they giving out these flyers and pamphlets, asking for support and donations for this shit. Okay? The group no longer holds regular national meetings as of the late 1990s to avoid local police infiltration. The organization discouraged the formation of local chapters. This shit was out in the open. Roman Empire behavior. Okay, around 1995, an undercover detective discovered there were 1,100 people on an organization's rolls. Okay, NAMBLA was the largest group in international Pedialyte and child emancipation, an international Pedialyte activist organization. Since then, the organization has dwindled to only a handful of people, with many members joining online Pedialyte networks, according to director of the operations at the anti-Pedialyte organization, Perverted Justice. Okay, so they went underground. In December 1977, police raided a house in the Boston suburb Revere. 24 men were arrested and indicted on over 100 felony counts of the statutory scrape of boys aged 8 to 15. They found the men had used drugs and video games to lure the boys into a house where they photographed them as they engaged in S activity. The men were members of a S ring, and the arrest was the tip of the iceberg. The most despised group of men in America, which was founded mostly by eccentric, boy-loving leftists. This is what it is. They said that the closet is weak. There is strength in unity and being open. Come on out. This is what they found and encouraged. Solidarity amongst gay men. This is what they were saying. This is what we lived through. This is nothing new. Nothing new at all. Okay? Wildness. So when you see it, you got to call it what it is. You keep excusing these black boys, these black men, from wearing these extra tight suits. Keep excusing Kirk Franklin, a man of the book. Y'all already know where the book is from. So now that behavior that you see, yeah, you should be taken aback by it. What's really good? You got on jeggings. You got on tights. Dudes, children, elders is looking at you supposed to be singing gospel. And the crack of your behind is in everybody's face. Y'all think that's an accident? Why is he so comfortable doing that? Greco-Roman, NAMBLA. Now, this is what they say. NAMBLA is not a gay organization. They are not part of our community, and we thoroughly reject their efforts to insulate that Pedialyte is an issue related to gay and lesbian civil rights. That was back then. NAMBLA said, man-boy love is by definition homosexual. That the Western homosexual tradition, from Socrates to Wilde to Giddy, and many non-Western homosexualities from New Guinea and Persia and the Japanese were formed by Plea. That man-boy lovers are part of the gay movement and central to gay history and culture. And that homosexuals denying that it is not gay to be attracted to adolescent boys are just as ludicrous as heterosexuals saying it's not heterosexual to be attracted to adolescent girls. This is the wicked minds of these people. They're debating this, trying to attach themselves, and they say, nah, we not rocking with you. This is the sickness. This is what, but now, this was years ago. Today, it's all under one umbrella. Greco-Roman. Keep wanting to be white. Keep wanting what white folk want. Excuse me. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. I want to see y'all. Keep it up. Keep doing it. Keep talking about what you stand for. Keep being a black person talking about fighting for Palestine in Palestine. When you can't fight for your own people, keep doing it. Keep being off code and watch what happens. Boy, I'm telling you, watch what happens. Oh, woe is your grippers. Keep running around behind them old face. Keep doing it. Keep it up. And you don't separate from them, boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Woe is your ass. I'm telling you. They not playing with you. They not. They not. They not. Keep listening to the news. Keep looking at shit and trying to shake your head and like, yo, what's going on? You know what's going on. You better get ready to fight and separate. You better be ready because they not playing. And keep listening to people who want to gossip. Keep listening to people who can't inform you about shit. Keep doing it. I'm good. Trust and believe. This is not a local class. This is an express train. So either you riding with me or you not. If you not, so be it. I'm good. We keep it moving. Got time to be bullshitting and waiting while you trying to get your shit together? You supposed to be together already. This is express train. We moving. Keep up or be going. I'm good. I don't have time. I don't have time to be wasting. Nah, not here. And on that note, don't believe in me. Believe in my belief in you. Make sure you come back to class with all 10 fingers and 10 toes. Okay? Make sure you come back to class with all 10 fingers and 10 toes. That means safely. That means my truckers, y'all out there. Okay? Truckers, get y'all something decent. Don't be playing on them highways. Get you something decent. Something that's going to knock somebody's shit off of their shoulders if they act crazy. That's what type of time we on right now. Your job is to get home. Your job is to make it home because somebody loves you home. Not to be playing in them streets. No, sir. Truckers, get home. Get home, make it home. All my people's in travel. Make sure y'all getting to and from safely. Don't play with nobody. No confrontation, zero. And if they back you up and you have to make that decision, you bust to make sure you coming home. Let nobody harm you. Nobody has power or authority over you. Okay? My paperwork is always good. All right? We are in consistent militant mode. We don't play games at all. So get your mind right. Get out of the fantasy of what you believe white folk did for you, or that you believe in you are not able to do on your own. Get out of that. Get out of that. You dig? Now, all my classroom assistants, much appreciation for holding it down. This was a long one. Much appreciation for those who funded the war effort. Much appreciation to those who didn't. We got you. Keep watching. Keep watching. The learning is for you as well. All right? That's where we at with it. You dig? And 55 gang. Get y'all grades up.